In the dark corners of the cosmos, where stars twinkle like distant promises, there exists a tale that defies all expectations. A tale of intrigue, aggression, unity, and, most astonishingly, humanity. Imagine a galaxy teeming with sentient species, and in one unremarkable corner, a handful of humans, silently building their colony. Little did they know, they were about to clash with the ruthless Kamsu, setting off a chain of events that would forever change the course of their encounter with the cosmos. Clash of Cultures. When the Kamsu first encountered humans, it was like a collision of worlds with starkly contrasting cultures. Picture a species known for its uncompromising and aggressive disposition. That's the Kamsu for you. These interstellar beings didn't mess around. When they stumbled upon the humans, they didn't exactly extend a warm welcome. Instead, they went straight for the attack. The Kamsu's aggressive nature wasn't just about being trigger-happy. It was deeply rooted in their evolutionary history. They were survivors, hailing from a world where danger lurked at every corner. Their combat instincts were hardwired into their genes, making them formidable foes. So, when they encountered the humans, their natural response was to resort to aggression, a tactic that had served them well for generations. Now, let's talk about the humans. These guys were the new kids on the galactic block, and they were clueless about the fact that they were sharing the universe with other sentient species. Imagine their surprise when these hulking Kamsu came charging at them, arms or appendages ablaze. The humans' lack of knowledge about other sentient species wasn't due to ignorance or arrogance. It was a result of their isolation. The human race had quietly been building colonies in a remote corner of the galaxy, and they had no inkling that other intelligent life forms existed. To them, the universe was an uncharted territory, and they had no interstellar etiquette book to guide them through first contact. Here's where it gets really interesting. You'd think that in a showdown between a species as aggressive and battle-hardened as the Kamsu and the unsuspecting humans, the latter would come off worse, but guess what? That wasn't the case at all. The surprising outcome of the first encounter was a real head-scratcher. The Kamsu initiated the conflict by attacking a human settlement, setting buildings ablaze left and right. But they had a glaring blind spot. You see, they weren't the best at recognizing sentient alien species. They were more like, if it moves, torch it. So, while they were busy playing pyromaniacs, they didn't even realize that they were burning down structures inhabited by telepathic humans. But the real twist in this tale came when a Kamsu commander spotted a human family trying to escape the wreckage. Just as he was about to toast them with his flamethrower, a human in a high-tech armored suit stepped in. Armed with a kinetic pistol and an actual sword. Yes, a sword. This human made the Kamsu commander look like a slowpoke. The commander tried to blast the human with his laser, but the human simply sidestepped it. Talk about lightning reflexes. This encounter ended with the Kamsu commander losing an arm and realizing that humans weren't pushovers. But what about the Reconnaissance mission? The Fateful Reconnaissance mission. So, the Kamsu decided to send in the big guns, their armed reconnaissance team. These Kamsu weren't your ordinary scouts. They were armed to the teeth, but their mission wasn't just a casual stroll through the galaxy. Nope, they were on a serious business trip. Their goal? to investigate a small human settlement on a planet earmarked for economic exploitation by their government, or coordinator as they call it. Now, imagine a team of heavily armed, battle-ready Cook-Kam-Su descending upon this unsuspecting human colony. It's like sending a tank to a tea party, total overkill. As you might guess, subtlety wasn't their strong suit. The Cook-Kam-Su arrived at the human settlement and, without skipping a beat, went all out, torching buildings left and right. They didn't waste time. If they saw a structure, they set it ablaze. It's almost like they were playing a game of how fast can we turn this place into a bonfire. The Cook-Kam-Su, bless their hearts, weren't the best at recognizing that these buildings were actually inhabited by sentient, semi-telepathic humans. Their communication was more on the pheromone side of things, and they didn't have a strong grasp of theory in mind, so they merrily carried on with their fiery destruction, largely oblivious to the actual humans scurrying for cover. But hold on, because this is where the plot thickens, like space porridge. As the Cook-Kam-Su commander approached one of the buildings with his arm-mounted flamer, he noticed something strange. There, standing between him and a human family, was a fully encased human in an armored suit. And this human wasn't just standing there for a casual chat. They had a big kinetic pistol and a sword. An honest-to-galactic goodness sword. In the blink of an eye, this human, armed to the teeth, managed to creep up under the Cook-Kam-Su commander. Before the Cook-Kam-Su even knew what hit them, this human had removed the commander's limb. Now that's what you call a surprise attack. The commander, suddenly a bit lighter in the arm department, let out a mighty screech as he realized he'd been injured. He backed away from the wreckage, thoroughly shocked. But that's not the end of it. The human, quick as lightning, dodged a laser blast from the Cook-Kam-Su commander's remaining arm-mounted weapon. Fast reflexes or what? This encounter was the turning point in their little showdown. The commander, realizing he was outmatched and outmaneuvered, backed away. And there you have it, the first casualty in the human Cook-Kam-Su conflict. The commander and his arm. The Astonishing Human Scout. This is where the humans start to give the Cook-Kam-Su a run for their money. A Cook-Kam-Su commander, fresh off the escapade, about to toast a human family with his flamethrower. But just before he hit the ignition button, a human in a high-tech armored suit showed up, and managed to sneak up underneath the Cook-Kam-Su commander and removed his limb before the commander even realized what happened. It's like something out of a sci-fi action movie. Let's give credit where credit is due. The Cook-Kam-Su commander had faced some tough opponents in his time, but nothing could have prepared him for the sheer speed and agility of this human. Dodging laser blasts like it's a walk in the park? That's next level reflexes right there. His human wasn't just some random hero who happened to be in the right place at the right time. No, my friends. This human was part of a team of scouts sent on a mission. And what was the mission? Well, brace yourselves. They were there to prepare the way for an invasion. Before you start picturing an intergalactic war, let me clarify. Humans aren't a united front. They have their own factions, and these scouts were working for one of those factions. They were essentially fighting a formalized war against another human faction, and this planet was their battleground. So, when the Cook-Kam-Su attacked the human colony, these scouts weren't about to let it slide. They might have been equipped for stealth operations, but they weren't going down without a fight, and boy did they bring the fight. Here's where the plot thickens. Despite being lightly armed compared to the Cook-Kam-Su, these human scouts had something the Cook-Kam-Su severely underestimated: strategy and teamwork. Armed with stealth capabilities and the trusty sword of theirs, monomolecular edge and all, these scouts turned the tide of the battle. Remember the commander who lost his arm? Well, his misfortune was just the beginning. The scouts started taking down Cook-Kam-Su left and right, moving like shadows and striking with deadly precision. It's like a masterclass in guerrilla warfare. The Kukkamsu, who were used to more straightforward tactics, found themselves outmaneuvered and outgunned. The scouts were the epitome of brains over brawn. Before they knew it, the tide had turned and the Kukkamsu were on the run. Understanding human nature. Humans are like cosmic oddballs when it comes to evolution. While most species in the galaxy evolved in relatively peaceful environments and made it to the top of the food chain by evolving to avoid being eaten, humans took a different route. They're what you'd call carnivorous hunter species, and that's a rarity in the grand scheme of things. This carnivorous nature meant that they had to be fast, tough, and strong to survive in a world where they weren't always the biggest kids on the block. So when you're dealing with humans, remember, they're compact powerhouses, and they've got the brawn to back it up. Here's the kicker. Humans didn't just evolve to hunt other animals, they also evolved to survive being hunted by some seriously nasty creatures. Imagine having to dodge apex predators while you're out gathering dinner. That's the life humans had to deal with. This constant conflict with their environment and other creatures shaped human development in more ways than one. It made them incredibly fast, resilient, and adaptable. They're like the Swiss Army knives of the galaxy, always ready for whatever curveballs the universe throws at them. But here's where it gets even more interesting. Humans didn't just evolve physically, their culture evolved too. Most species in the galaxy prefer diplomacy and negotiation to resolve conflicts, but humans, no. They have a long history of organized violence, aka war. Now let's talk about human warfare. It's not just a free-for-all where one side tries to wipe out the other. Oh no, humans have rules that even the most battle-hardened warriors follow. For instance, when enemies put down their weapons and surrender, humans generally don't go in for the kill. They even spare civilians who are not actively involved in the conflict. This "leave the civilians alone" rule is almost universal among humans. And here's the kicker, killing juveniles, big no-no. Humans have this universal taboo against harming the young ones. It's like their Achilles heel. Threaten a human child and you've just crossed a line that cannot be uncrossed. So when you're dealing with humans, remember that they're not just mindless warriors. They might be tough cookies, but they have an intricate code of conduct in warfare. They value intelligence and strategy as much as physical strength. The catalyst for unity. So, after that whole fiery showdown with the human scouts, the Kukkamsu were not pleased. They decided to send in a fleet to eliminate this newfound alien threat. But here's the kicker, they still didn't fully understand what they were up against. I mean, can you blame them? Humans were a brand new discovery, and the Kukkamsu were more used to dealing with dangerous critters than sentient species. But they went for it anyway, probably thinking they could just obliterate the colony from orbit and call it a day. However, what they didn't count on was the power of human unity. Human factions, the ones usually duking it out with each other, decided to set aside their differences. Why, you ask? Well, it's because the surveillance footage captured by the human scouts showed the Kukkamsu as these horrifying alien monsters. Imagine watching that on your big screen space TV. It's enough to make anyone rethink their priorities. So, the scouts from one human faction came to the aid of another human settlement, and suddenly, all those factional disputes didn't seem that important. The Kukkamsu had unwittingly united the humans against a common threat. It's like the classic "enemy of my enemy is my friend" scenario, but in space. Now, hold on to your tentacles, because this is where the plot thickens even more. The Kukkamsu, realizing that they were in over their heads and didn't exactly want to mess with a united human front, decided to reach out to the humans and establish a dialogue. It turns out the humans were more interested in gaining information about this first other sentient species they discovered than in continuing hostilities. That's when the cultural exchange began. Today, there are humans all over the galaxy studying various species and cultures. They are like the interstellar explorers of diplomacy. And guess what? Some of them are even on our world right now. Yes, you heard me right. Humans studying us Armia. So, from a failed retaliation to a united front against a common threat, and finally to the beginnings of a cultural exchange, this story takes you on a roller coaster ride through the intricacies of interstellar diplomacy and the surprising ability of even the fiercest species to put aside their differences in the face of the unknown. If there's one thing to take away from this story, it's that humans are not your run-of-the-mill, one-size-fits-all species. Their responses to threats are as intricate as a labyrinth. Remember, they've evolved over millennia to deal with predators who are other sentient beings. This means they have a vast array of responses, from lightning-fast reflexes to intricate cultural rules. Humans are more than just brute strength. They're cerebral warriors. So, never underestimate the layers of their reactions. Here's a golden rule when dealing with humans. Never, ever threaten human children. It's not just a rule, it's practically an intergalactic law. The Cook Kamsu learned this the hard way when they attacked a human family with juveniles. Humans have an almost universal taboo against harming the young ones, and crossing that line is a surefire way to stir up trouble. So, if you ever find yourself in a situation involving humans, keep this in mind. Those little ones are off limits. Respect this rule, and you might just find yourself in the good books of the local human population. Perhaps the most surprising lesson from this cosmic showdown is the peaceful resolution of the conflict. Despite their initial skirmish and misunderstandings, humans and the Cook Kamsu managed to put down their metaphorical swords and start a cultural exchange. It's a shout out to the power of diplomacy and the human thirst for knowledge. Instead of continuing hostilities, they chose to learn from each other. Humans, being the curious creatures they are, were more fascinated by the prospect of understanding a new sentient species than engaging in an all-out war. So, as we wrap up this extraordinary tale of first contact and unlikely diplomacy, remember that in the vast tapestry of the galaxy, even the deadliest encounters can lead to peaceful resolutions. And in the end, it's not just about survival, it's about understanding and coexisting in this remarkable cosmos of ours. Let us know in the comments below what your thoughts are on this. Make sure to subscribe to our channel.